Hi, how are you? I'm Mindy Santo, and I am walking you through the core value card deck sort. It occurred to me that instead of talking about it or you reading through the process, it would be more impactful to walk through this activity with you. So, first of all, I have my test deck here. I am not at my home base, and I wanted to get this video to you. So that's what we'll be walking through today using this. In fact, the digital download and of the cards and the Discover Your Core Values in 4 Steps exercise are new downloads for me, something I've never done before. So any feedback is helpful for me to help others and to also improve on my work. So, a little side note, I'd love to hear from you. During this video, we will first of all be taking pauses. I will give you a heads up when we're going to take a 4 to 5 minute pause. I'm not going to sit here on the other side of the video, so you can hit that pause button and come back anytime. And also, as you're walking through this process, I'd like you to check in with how you're feeling when you choose these values. Some of them may surprise you. I feel like it would also be advantageous for you to write them down. It's interesting when you start recording the highlights, how that evidence shows up in the choices that you make, whether it's something new, something that you may not have ever done before. So this will be helpful in discovering what those feelings are. Also, approach this from your current reality. Often I'm asked, well, what if this happens or what if this happens? Yes, life is going to happen. You may get married, you may have a child, you may be promoted, you may move to another country. All of those things will affect your values. And right now we're going to concentrate on what's in the here and now. So I wanted to let you know that it was really important for me to create this deck after loads of research about core values and looking at different decks. So many of them, I felt like they were heavy on professional values, and then the ones that were more personal felt too personal, if that makes any sense. So I wanted to create a deck that the values and the definitions were a nice blend of both, because I believe life is a nice blend of both. Because I'm sure you realize when you lean too heavily on that professional side that sometimes you forget those personal values that are important to you, like family, love, extracurricular activities. So not that you're going to have a perfect balance. There are no expectations for that. I do not have any expectations for that. And life will also be 20/80, 30/70, 40/60. So that was very important to me. Also, it was important to streamline this process, because when I was challenged by my coach to identify my core values, my gosh, online there were lists that were 100 values long. I just need something a little more succinct. So we have 44 values in here for you to work with. So just so you know how many values are in this deck. So in the worksheet, I have an example of what somebody may be preparing for, which is a marathon. There are other examples that you may have, different goals that you are working toward. And I highlighted those values that were important to my client as she prepared, whether it was health or, schedule, the commitment to her outcome. So think of the goal that you're working toward. It may be completely different. You may be applying for a new job, or you may be thinking about planning a family. Or like in my last example of preparing to go mobile, all of the things that led us to that point, which the first thing was making a decision, deciding to sell a house. I'm certain many of you have been through that, and it was a huge undertaking. It was the first time. So each one of those phases will have decisions that need to be made around it and values that will reflect that. Now, what we're going to do first is take the deck, and we're going to divide it into, I know this will be backwards, what matters most to me and what doesn't matter to me. And I don't want you to linger here. And I also want you to contemplate what these values mean to you. Before we start, and before you start, taking a few deep breaths will be helpful. I always encourage that with my clients and in workshops, because it will be helpful for you to be present and to focus your efforts on this work. Like I said, anytime we walk through this exercise and we're taking a break, I will let you know. Now, when you are walking through the doesn't matter to me and what matters most to me, I know doesn't matter to me may feel unimportant, or you may question why that's important. I feel like it matters. I'm going to share a little story that I've shared with people before. I was single for a very long time, and when I finally decided, okay, it's time to, get back out into the dating scene, I realized, wow, I've been gone for a while and a lot of things had changed, and I was getting very frustrated with the quality of dates that I had. And I thought to myself, dude, is this your A game? It was a lot of complaining, but all that aside, I realized that knowing that I was not identifying what was important to me about the person that I would eventually be in a relationship with. And that was obvious in the people that I said yes to. And so it helped to know what didn't matter to me as much as it did what matters most to me, so that I could start aligning those priorities with the relationship that I desired. And that's exactly the result that I got. So we're going to take a pause, 4 to 5 minutes, for you to choose between what doesn't matter to you and what matters most to you. And you can do the whole deck. Doesn't matter how many are in each pile, but as long as you have 10, and that matters most to me, if that's a hint. So take a pause here. Okay, feeling good? Great. Did anything surprise you? Again, why don't you take a few notes just to record maybe something that came up that would be a great clue. I always share that with people. There are little pieces, crumbs, that will help you as you move along this process that will create that common thread. Even though you have that doesn't matter to me pile, don't throw that away. Or if you're working on the exercise, the worksheet, just fold that on the back, or take that stack of cards that doesn't matter to me and set them to the side, because again, this is a fluid process. You may revisit this and think, I've got to have those doesn't matter cards. I need to resort these and maybe reprioritize. Okay, now we're going to take your top 10 values and, or sorry, the matters most to me, and we're going to choose your top 10. Now, when you're choosing that top 10, it's okay if you want to take a pause. You may feel pressured to choose that top 10. If you need to, there is an extra sheet in your download if you want to have some what I call wild cards to write your own in, or you can combine some values. In fact, I'm going to give you a few examples from some workshops. For fun, creativity, and innovation and passion felt like it could be combined together, efficiency and structure, or maybe love, integrity, commitment, respect, accountability could all be combined. This is your practice. That's the most important aspect of all of this. So whatever will help you to reach your goals with ease and more quickly is what matters most to you. So again, 4 to 5 minutes, pause the video, and when we come back, we'll move on to the next step. All right, are you feeling good? How did that feel to narrow down to that top 10? Hopefully it didn't feel too uncomfortable, because we're about to go to your top 5 or 6. I know. And I know that it's also worth it. Even though you may feel challenged, it will be completely worth narrowing it down to the 5 or 6. I say 6 because I had to go with 6. And in fact, I'm going to walk you through my core values and the decisions and how I arrived at them. So I'm going to highlight the first one, which is not in my test deck, because I struggled to outline succinctly what it meant to me, and that is travel. Because I know people say, adventure, growth. There are so many ways to look at travel. Travel to me could stand alone as a core value, because I look at it, I guess, more globally. It is near and far. It can be overseas to Paris, and it can also be a day driving to look at the beautiful leaves that have recently been turning. It can be a walk around the block, or it can be a week-long vacation to visit family. Travel has a meaning to me that warranted it to be a core value. So that's the first one. My second one is fitness and health. I'm postmenopausal and have been learning about the changes in me, my body, for the past year. And I want to put a focus on my health, because it's the only health that I have, whether it's the nutrition or strengthening my body, looking at it from a different perspective. So health, fitness and health was a top core value for me going forward, because it's not something that I do once and then it's done. It is a consistent value in my life. Money and wealth. For me, being able to contribute to community, being able to help family, being able to do the things that are important to me, that help nourish me. Sometimes money and wealth is something that you need to have, right? And so I look at how I manage my money. I sold a house, so I look at how those finances work and try to educate myself. I believe that is important. Love, which to me, of course, is my partnership and my intimate relationship, can also mean friendships, can also mean love of a group of people that are close in my orbit. And so when I was looking at these core values, I created bullet points and things that fell under that main umbrella. Growth. I mentioned how what I do for work needs to be meaningful. And to me, that means that there will always be growth. There will always be an opportunity to step out of that proverbial comfort zone. And it's not always easy. It's never easy when you're changing. And it's always so worth it because you get to experience so many different things that enrich your life. I know a friend and I mentor each other. We try to meet weekly, and we talk about the new things that we have been doing or are getting ready to work on and how it can be frustrating. It can be very frustrating because you're learning, you're beating your head up against the wall to try new software or try to organize a group, whatever that is. So growth is really important. So give yourself grace, first of all, and I know there are people that know I'm talking to them. Which leads me to flexibility. Flexibility. We are in a Class B camper van, and sometimes we have to move and go to a new place because something is closed. We took a trip through northern Georgia, and we had a destination in mind, a dispersed camping site. Well, we got there, and there was a gate across the entrance. What's plan B? Plan B didn't exist. What about plan C? So flexibility. Even in new work, you're going to have to be flexible as you learn the ropes of a new role, a new organization, new leadership. It's interesting when I think about work and being flexible. It's viable to, I guess, nourishing you daily to show up, to do something that benefits society, benefits an organization, whatever it is that they may be providing. So I feel like flexibility is a very important value. Now, there are so many other values in here that I also feel have importance. And these were my top. It was not an easy decision. So know that it is, it may take you a little time. It's not always going to be, okay, just dealing them out. Or you may just be dealing them out and think, okay, community, faith, religion, self-care. This is your practice. Whatever works for you, wherever that importance is for you, that will help you along to prioritize as you are building your framework. Help you make better and informed decisions. Help you be more intentional as you are working toward your goals, as you align your core values with your goals to elevate that outcome. I hope this helps. If you have any questions at all, again, Mindy@mindysanto.com. That's MINDY, and then at MINDYSANTO.com. Or in your newsletter, you have that little envelope icon at the bottom. Just click on that and it takes you to my email. Thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it. And again, share this with somebody that you feel this could be beneficial for. I'm always happy to help whoever I can. Thank you.